Your video needs to go on. All right, there you go.
You can tell I'm a biotech girl, not a tech girl. Thanks, Tom. So day 3, Reimagining R&D. Thank you for having me. I hope everybody's enjoyed the last couple of days. This is a fantastic summit. As Todd mentioned, I am the brand spanking new executive director of Biocom here in LA. This is week 3 on the job for me, so you're catching me super fresh. For those of you who are not familiar with Biocom, we have over 1,400 members across the state of California. We are California's premier trade association for the life sciences. And what that really means at a practical level is everything from advocacy and pushing public policy to networking events, hopefully fun and meaningful networking events and programming, to facilitating greater access, increased access and visibility to venture capitalists, capital, investment dollars, and also a lot of workforce development initiatives at a state and local level. So pretty much everything and anything in between and around all of that, anything that we feel will be a benefit to members or that members ask for. Really, the sky's the limit in our minds. And, with our stated mission of accelerating life sciences. So super glad to be here and to open us up this morning. As the new executive director, I love the word reimagining because for me, it's about reimagining what life sciences in LA could look like and what that means kind of both locally at a state level, at a global level. So to me, and my vision for LA is to turn our region into a premier life science hub. And AI and the intersection of AI and life sciences I see is very key to that. So here in LA, I'm going to use the word unprecedented. We're at an unprecedented time in LA, and I'm not talking about coronavirus. I mean this in a really great and opportunistic way for us in the region. We have all the critical and key components finally gathered here in this area, in this cluster, if you will. And now it's about really strengthening connections, making those networks work, and really having those conversations. So a summit like this is just so key and instrumental to the vibrancy and the success of our ecosystem. And when I talk about the key components that are finally here and in place in LA, we've always had industry members here in LA, business stakeholders, partnerships, but what I'm talking about now is at this time now here in LA, adding to that the tremendous support we're getting from local elected officials at a county and a city level, venture capitalists strengthening and deepening their roots here in our community, investing in local homegrown companies. And all of these components are really critical, again, to our success here and turning this into a premier life science hub. It truly takes a village. We're all gathered now. So again, it's about starting to build that community, strengthen the network and the connections amongst ourselves, whether we're in Ventura or Pasadena or Riverside County or Orange County. And so it's super exciting to be here with all of you today. It starts with this. It starts with fostering those connections, fostering and nurturing the creative, bright minds and talent that we have here in LA. And really looking at all the amazing technologies, profiling them, raising their profile, and all the innovation that we have here in our backyard. So I'm going to switch gears a little and talk about the agenda for this morning's sessions, because when I looked at the agenda, I have no idea what the panelists are going to talk about and what's going to happen in these sessions. But like most of you, just kind of looked at the agenda and personally got super excited. For those of you who don't know me, before coming to Biocom, I was co-founder and CEO of Meditope Biosciences, which is a preclinical stage oncology company developing immune oncology products right now. And we are homegrown, again, based here in LA, and working on commercializing some amazing technology that we licensed and are partnering with City of Hope on. So when I looked at reimagining R&D in labs, when I looked at reimagining cancer treatments and quantified self even, the implications for the face of cancer are huge. And having just lived that, I got super excited for this morning. You think about reimagining R&D labs, or just taking a step back, thinking about cancer and the whole kind of timeline or lifeline of a cancer treatment, from drug discovery to drug development and clinical trials, all the way to the patient experience, and making sure that, we improve patient outcomes. Reimagining R&D in labs, I saw that the word incubator. We have a lot of great member incubators popping up all over the place. Some have been here for a long time. Here in LA, it's really exciting to see that growth. For the little guys like Meditope, they're instrumental to our support and success in the region, to not have to invest in huge capital projects and development and equipment like that as a startup is so instrumental. But beyond that, using AI and, as we put it at Meditope, in silico experiments to really discover new drug targets, really streamline the discovery process to eliminate a lot of the old-fashioned wet lab trial and error, is super exciting and has huge implications downstream. And then you think about reimagining cancer treatments. Super excited to get the update from my buddy Stephanie Culler at Persephone. We were both cohorts alums of the life science program at Springboard Enterprises. I encourage people to check that out. But doing great stuff. Looking forward to hearing what her update is on harnessing the microbiome to really improve patient outcomes for cancer treatments. For ourselves, sort of, and thinking about what I see here in LA at that intersection of AI, it goes beyond just the cancer treatments too, and rethinking cancer treatments. It goes towards reimagining a lot of, again, that process and streamlining the process. I've heard of companies here who are essentially almost an eHarmony for patients and clinical trials, really pairing them up and getting the right patients for the right trials, not just regionally, but globally. So again, streamlining that process, accelerating patient enrollment in important trials, and pushing a lot of these breakthrough and innovative therapies to market to get them into the patients as quickly as possible, which also should in turn translate into greatly reduced costs. Quantified self might not be as obvious. As a former competitive cyclist, I love this stuff, right? Who's not obsessed with their Fitbit or the computers and Pelotons and things that measure, your exercise, your heartbeat, your power output, as well as, your sleep habits and great implications for just overall well-being in our everyday to-day lives. But when you think about reimagining what that could look like for cancer patients or telemedicine in a post-COVID or even just today world, it's mind-blowing, and it's happening, right? It's happening here, but just better patient monitoring. I think about some of the innovations going on at our local academic institutions. I'm a little biased because I'm in Pasadena, so Caltech's across the street, but smart pills and wearables that can monitor things that we couldn't monitor before, different markers or metabolites in your system just by a patch on your skin that can deliver the information in real time to your doctor. Really, again, streamlining a very clunky process, and also important implications for immune compromised people who don't in these days want to go into the office to be monitored or for a blood draw to see how things are going with their chemo treatments. So really exciting stuff. I've reimagined it from just sort of my background of 30 years in oncology, but it's really exciting. I'm super excited to hear what everybody's going to say in these sessions, on these panels, but the conversations coming out of them are going to be clearly the intersection of AI and healthcare is not only inevitable and exciting, but is here already in our backyard. And it's not without its challenges. When I originally kind of think of AI. Again, I'm not a tech girl, I'm a biotech girl. But, you know, I think garbage in, garbage out. Amazon's trying to sell me the same toilet I bought yesterday from them. You know, it's not a substitute for the hard thinking, and it's not a substitute for intelligence. And especially in this era and these times when we want to avoid sort of the embedded biases that always creep in. But I mean, who better than us in this community? I mean, we're such a creative group, right? So who better to really lead that charge and take us forward and reimagine what the world in life sciences and beyond could look like when we start really combining all these pieces. I mean, this is sort of getting back to my vision for LA. This is what gets me really excited about my new role. It's, you know, you look around at what we have in LA, and it's a richness and depth of diversity across so many dimensions. I'm not just talking about demographics and the communities that we have here, but technologies and the legacy industries, from aerospace and engineering to the storytelling of Hollywood to gaming and digital media. We are naturals. We've got our own creative vibe here, our own special vibe. We're so good at that creativity and reimagining how you can combine everything that's sort of in front of you and move it forward and make the world a better place. So combine this with sort of the village that is gathered in the community and the pieces from the elected officials to the VCs to our business community. All of you guys, you are all a part of this. You are all a critical part of our success in turning this into a premier life science hub, not just in the state or in the country, but globally. So thank you to Todd and his team at AILA for pulling us all together here. Amazing lineup of speakers and thought leaders and an amazing audience. So I really hope, and I challenge all of you to really reimagine as we go through today, what your role will be and what you want it to be in this, my new world order, I'll say. So buckle up, get ready to be inspired, start a conversation, and again, reimagine kind of how you want to contribute and be a piece of this. So enjoy today, and thank you all for having me open you up. And with that, I'm going to pass it over and kick off our next session, which is on reimagining cancer treatments. Take care.